jump into Roman's Christmas. This is a little mystery visual novel game. So there are plenty of other mystery visual novel type games out there. You may have heard of them, like Ace Attorney. Yeah, Phoenix Wright. Yeah. So this game is originally in Chinese, but there is an English language option, so I'm going to stick to that. As mentioned in the description, this is a review copy. So this is a request from the developer of the game for me to stream and review this game. Day 1, 23rd of December, year 1285. It's Christmas in 2 days, as well as the end of my fast. Though it's nice to feast on Christmas, I still cannot bear the 1 month fast. A whole month without any means of meat for a wolf would certainly turn him into a hare. Species dynamics here. You know, like Beastars and Zootopia and all that. And I won't let any sorts of cases interrupt my vacation. Wink. Not even murder. Oh no. The door hinge creaked as I pushed the door I'm not going to make fun of any English grammatical errors or any weird sounding phrases, because this is like an overseas Chinese team trying to translate into English, and I know that's usually kind of difficult sometimes. Haven't seen you for a while. What would you like to have today? Sarzan? Sarzan? Huh, that's an interesting name. Sarzan was dusting one of his precious portraits when I came into the tavern. Oh, we have our bard right here. What a coincidence to meet you here. What about buying me a drink to celebrate this moment? So, alright, this is clearly more medieval fantasy based. He's a bard, yet without a lord to support his artistic career. Same. I'm so flattered that you still remember me, Roman, the great detective. Of course I do. You left such an impression of me last time when I was trying to solve the case of... Please stop it, I'm really sorry for that! I do like it when a visual novel has good visual timing like that. Who in the heavens is this? Why the disguise? Hasn't he heard of the saying, do in Rome as Rome does? It's an interesting paraphrase. That is elegant. If you find out anything regarding her, do keep it to yourself. Her? Whatever, I've seen Stranger Things. I know how mind powers work. Alright, that's a nice fireplace sound. I sat by my usual chair, enjoying myself in the quiet and familiar atmosphere. I can feel myself warming up as we speak. I brought a brochure called A Brief History of Apollyon with me to do some reading during my vacation. I guess we're gonna have a little history lesson before getting into the actual mystery. I don't know, should I do like a save point right here? Here's what the save screen looks like, by the way. All the people we've met so far, and we also have a little section for clues. But we don't have any clues yet because the mystery hasn't started yet. I guess we'll learn more about Apollyon. On the 4th of September, 1169. Nice. An earthquake endangered many lords' reign. Whoa. Whoa. It's dragon. If herrings are sold out, I'll have to serve you carrot stew. Bon appetit. Gulp. Chapter 0. Christmas Carol. So there seems to be some sort of casino theme elements in here as well, with the throwing dice and throwing darts. The pine wood, which was rich in rosin, in the fire burst into slight exploding sounds from time to time. Well, I know it's supposed to be crackling, but exploding kind of sounds a little bit dangerous. Even if you adulate on my cooking skills, I won't give you any discount. You're using some fancy words here, adulate. Call me down if you think of other activities. I still have a lot of things to do. What do you want to do tonight? Having no idea now. I mean, don't we all? Who do I care about more? As a detective, let's go for the mystery. I waited for Elegant to reach out for a handshake. Oh, so they do handshakes in this universe. But it seems she didn't want to, so my right hand was half stretched out in the air, awkwardly. Yeah, I've been there. I suddenly felt as if I were naked. And viewers, as far as you can tell, I could be naked right now. Just because I don't have my webcam on. Oh well. That's just for you to know. Actually, I came here to ask of your gender. What race are you? May I ask your race is, it's a cat. Can't you see? Or is it our detective too drunk to see? I heard a puzzle in a tavern from another town. Are you guys interested? Sorry, we are kind of in the middle of... What's the puzzle? Are we gonna play the puzzle game again? I can't tell if that's like excitement or just like, are we doing this again? Let's start then, Anzox. I keep wanting to call him Annex. That's not his name. The windmill was turned to an ominous position, looking like an inverted cross. Oh, sorry. Hi, Sherbert. Yeah, good to see Sherbert Shenanigans on here. Congrats on, like, all the stuff that's going on with your show, by the way. I saw it on Twitter earlier this morning. I retweeted it. Get to the point. We want the puzzle, not your cheap trick story. Yeah, we don't want to hear about your story with epic rock band Cheap Trick. You won't pay me anyway, so just sit and listen. As they were getting closer, they found the maintenance basket of the windmill was tied with hemp rope, which is to ensure safety, of course. Evidence. The miller was hanged in the middle of the air with his head down. Uh-oh. Someone got hanged. His paws were stiff and hanging down, approximately the same level with the edge of the windmill blades, the snow from yesterday scattered on his cold body. Ironically, the thing to ensure safety became a deadly weapon. No one could imagine that. Oh, miller as in, like, the person who works at the windmill. I get it now, yeah. Why couldn't the safety rope be the murder weapon? Tied to the miller on the maintenance basket, he was hanging upside down, his hands level to the windmill's blades. Oh, so the miller's body was more like an inverted cross, I guess. That it was tied to his ankle? Is it like the bungee jumping that sailors bring back from overseas? I'm curious how old of a concept bungee jumping is, actually. That's a good question. The only possible way to was tied to the ankle. You are right, but there must be something that killed the miller. The detective in the town made an initial interference that the old miller was repairing the windmill when he was drunk. As you do. Clear OSHA violation, by the way. He wouldn't come for less than 13 rayar. I guess that's their currency, rayar. 13 rayar? That's 910 sate. Yeah, that's a lot, I guess. When can I have such payment? Look, we all gotta get that bread. Or land chops in this case. Or on the one hand, the description of the scene is not detailed enough. On the other hand, it's also a bizarre case. The biggest problem is that the glib bard can't grasp the key point. I like the word glib. He learned from the gossip in the tavern that on the night of the miller's death, 2 people also spent the night in the mill, but they all had alibis. The one is the miller's daughter. The other is his apprentice. Would the daughter intentionally try to kill her dad, or would the apprentice try to kill the superior? Or there's no need to know, but I do think there is. Let's go with the mill option. Name of the apprentice is Hans. He came to that's already the name of a betrayer already. You've seen Frozen. I'd also like to know about the daughter. Elena, the miller's daughter. She's 16 years old, a gray wolf, having many pursuers in town, including several local nobles. Oh, she's a hottie wolfie. Woo! But she's only 16, so that's weird. She became the dream girl for every bachelor in the tavern since she was 14 years old. Also kind of weird. Exactly, yeah, no, stop that. She had a good relationship with her father, at least other outsiders thought they had. Ooh, nice map. So maybe he just got swooped up his feet. Yeah, looking closer to a whole group planned thing. Stepping into the house, the detective met Elena, who was hiding her face and crying, and Hans, who is trying to comfort her. Do you want to listen to their testimony first, or go straight to the scene? If we hear the testimony first, that might give us some bias on what we should look for. I think we should look at all the clues along the scene first, then listen to the testimony to fill in the blanks. For some reason, she's just giving me the grumpy eyes. The villain is always Hans. Yes, I know. Oh, that's just the head upside down, I guess. Yeah, that is not an inverted cross. Okay. And that's, like, moved up. At the time, the detective's biological instinct broke out. His hair couldn't help to... His hair stood up on the back of his neck. That's how I'm gonna read that. And the kitchen was a mixture of the pungent smell of charcoal. Ooh, they're doing some barbecue there. And the delicious green smell of barley bread. How do you barbecue barley bread? Her eyes were red and swollen. Her facial hair was combed. Interesting use of the word, of the phrase facial hair. Because, like, you know, these are furries. They have hair on their face. It's facial hair. A couple of hard coughs. Unexpectedly, Anzoff changed his voice to a young woman. Okay. I've heard so much about you, detective. No, I'm going into this. If he's gonna pretend to be Elena, I am too. I assume this visit is related to my father's death. How I wish you can sound so nice always. That's a good burn, Dragon. It's really hard to speak like this. Come on. Show some of your dedication. Testimony. I don't know if it's because of the wind. The door on that day is more difficult to open than usual. I pushed the door open and the wind rolled the snow into the house. I don't usually do falsetto. Sorry. When I got under the windmill. Oh my god, if I can stop doing the voice cracks. I still can't believe that man is my father. Alright, now I can stop doing the voice. Irreconcilable contradiction between the testimony and the evidence. Now, let's see here. Love. No, I can't go right into that. Yeah, the stone for the gate for easy access had been moved. Let's start with that. It's too fishy. It's far fishier than you. For real? Why am I fishy? You're distracting others with that nonsense. Alright, I guess that's not it. It's the position of the body. He shouldn't have seen the head if the body is head down. Yeah, that's... Okay, I think that's what I was getting at. I just couldn't find the right clue. Elena was on the first floor and the body was head down. What else could she see but the head? Well, that was close. Footprints. There we go. No other footprints were on the scene. It was said earlier that the only series of footprints of the site reached the gate to the mill. As I recall, did Miss Elena just say she went out to check? Why was there only one string of footprints from the outside of the house to the gate of the mill? Well, I must have been so scared that my memory must have been confused. Let me start over. Oh. I can see that already. I was so scared that I ran back to the house and closed the door. The scene was so frightening that my memory was confused. Of course it is, yeah. Even the detective saw through the lies she made this time. Alright. Well, it's different this time. How can Elena see his head in the door since the miller's paws were even with the mill lathes? You don't need to clean up your footprints if you're just a witness, right? Is it possible that he made a suspicious act just because of the flurry? Or that the whole scene of death she described was just in her head? I'm just confused. How long will it take for you to figure it out? Don't say it if you don't get your ideas in shape. Was that a mark against me? If he died naturally, the body would not move after death, would it? It's just, I don't even know. Elena screamed hysterically and ran out of the living room. Mr. Hans. I hope you don't mind, I'm just doing my job. Well, I sure will try to do my best to... Testimony. The miller went to the pub to spend his time. Left Elena and I stayed in the mill to watch the house. Wait a minute. Elena went downstairs to check when I hurried back to my room. I went downstairs and saw Elena, pale, slumped on the ground. I took her back to the room. She told me off and on about what she saw outside the door, and I stayed at her bedside all night to keep her company. Okay, small question. Alibi, the room, no moving around. Bang! Their testimony is contradictory. Mr. Hans, small question. It has nothing to do with the case. It's just out of the admirers of an old detective for the young lovers. In which room do you usually date in? What's your usual like hookup room? Where do you like to go hooky? In Elena's room. She told me that you two were in your room as usual. She may just be confused by the shock. Or was she so frightened that she forgot the words you agreed in advance? Hans kept fiddling with his hands, and the fine bright beads of sweat moistened the soft hairs on his forehead. Oh, so they do. Okay. They do sweat from their head, I guess. Alright. Oh, your hands would shake when you were nervous. Can you even grasp the rope with it? His actions are all in the eyes of the detective, and now he needs only a little physical evidence to prove his conjecture himself. Search start. First thing I see, chest. He put on his gloves, put aside the miller's coat, and revealed his thick fur. He could touch the liquefying fat under the miller's skin. Interesting. Yeah, he's got that dad bod. Is this even related to the case? Well, but it's like different colored. Take your personal interest in the story. Hey, don't judge. Come on. No, right there. The miller's wide eyes was getting cloudy and lifeless. His wrinkles were getting clearer due to the stiff facial muscle. His mouth stayed shut, but the silent fear still escaped from him. He was greatly frightened. Found gray hair inside his nails which matched his own color. Under the miller's fur on his chest, there were scratches. See, that's what I was originally getting at. But she shamed me. Quick Q&A. Alright. This is an interesting interface. What do I do? Weapon. What's your opinion on the murder weapon? It wouldn't be a knife. How about murdering him with the shock which was caused by a sudden hang? Middle-aged chubby man may get sudden death because of external factors. You really didn't add the detail due to your own taste this time. Of course, every detail is necessary. So last time, why did you take nearly half an hour to describe the subject? Shh! 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 Modus operandi. What is the process of the crime? Deductive reasoning. Arrange the occurrences chronologically. Fill every groove on the left side with one ginseng. Okay. Burnt down the wooden wedge. Well, there is that, but ran away. Would have been around the neck. Lifting up in the air. Drop the rope. Wait, burnt the wedge, drop the rope. There. One of the chips are in their position. It will help a lot if you arrange the use by time order. From top to bottom, then place your bet. Alright, good. What? Did it just give me the answer? A voice whispers 41627. God, it was tired of me messing up, so it just gave me the answer. I guess I took too many times. Such a lucky dog. Motive. So what's the possible motivation? I'd say either of the last ones. The miller would not admit to the relationship between her daughter and the apprentice. You mean to get rid of the miller? Someone murdered him. Then the identity of the criminal is obvious. Even so, there's no need to kill them. Whodunit? Who is the criminal? I think it's obvious now. It is both of them. Joint crime. Done. I guess that counts as a tutorial level thing. So I guess if you just take a nap and skip this whole thing, that's just like, you know, I already know how this game works. I don't need to do this. The miller is a nice guy, but in particular, picky about his daughter's marriage. But it couldn't stop their love from growing. Two young people seized every moment they got to be together. They couldn't bear the miller's denial of their love any longer. The miller picked up his satisfied candidate among his daughter's followers and announced his decision for her. Naturally, his special generosity makes the acquaintances of the tavern extremely enthusiastic. They made the decision to kill the miller that night. After the miller went out, Hans tried a hanging knot with the safety rope and pull them down from the third floor maintenance basket. Even the calmest people may be betrayed by their actions when they kill for the first time. The rope in his hand, he dropped the knot in the snow, leaving the circular imprint. It would attract the miller's attention if the knot was taken back. The murder would have failed in that way, but by sheer coincidence, the miller took a step that changed the whole thing. He stepped into the ring by accident. When the miller's paw moved forward in the snow, the rope was pulled. After a moment of struggle and cursing, the face of the mill changed from red to purple. He could not help scratching his chest, and his movement became smaller and smaller until he stopped. Helena and Hans wanted to escape after this comedy of success. That's a good way to describe it. After all, as long as they got rid of the suspicion of murder, they can inherit the mill. Hans tied the safety rope to the maintenance basket, pretending that it was the miller who tied the rope himself. As the distant villagers saw the windmill stopped, they would naturally think that the miller accidentally fell and died while repairing the windmill. If you don't look closely at the scene, you would think that the miller died by accident. Although it looks intriguing at first, it's actually a novice puzzle with many loopholes. Yeah, thanks. If you need anything, please come to the third floor to find me. So there's just no music now. Alright. Is there anything else to do tonight? Wow, I guess not. Oh, great detective. You can really drink a lot. That's not spirit wine. It doesn't matter to have some cups. So, is it your usual reasoning? Just like that drunken style? I'm on vacation. It's fine if I didn't work well. If it's convenient, I like to space time. Space-time. To hear what you're doing here. Unsurprisingly, Sarzan had already cleaned the guest room impeccably. Why are the backgrounds so faded out? Now, sniffing about.